Hello, everyone. This is the show Making a Difference, and I'm your host, Jon Heymann. I'm excited today because I love the subject of leadership. I'm excited today to have with me Dr. Matthew Ohlson, who is the director of the Taylor Leadership Institute at the University of North Florida, right here in Jacksonville. Matthew, it's great to have you with us. How
Jon,
you doing?
So happy to be here.
Good.
Pleasure to see you.
Tell me a little bit about the Taylor Institute, how you got involved. I think you started it, if I'm not mistaken, but tell me why. So
I actually didn't start it, but what I had the privilege of doing, I was a professor at UNF and passionate about leadership, and I had the opportunity to serve as interim director starting in 2017, and director since 2019, and it's been an absolute joy. I tell everyone I have the best job in the world.
Leadership is such a fluffy term sometimes.
Sure.
You know, everybody's a leader somewhere. Leaders in our homes. If we're an older brother, we're a leader. But in the realm of academics, tell me what leadership is all about.
For us, I think the biggest thing is allowing our college students to see that leadership is an everyday action. It's all about the idea of influence. John Maxwell said, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And if we empower our students to have a positive influence, not only on campus, but in the community, it really takes that definition of leadership from the classroom, from a textbook, and putting it into action in the real world. And it's really empowered our students to not only be, have the opportunity to study leadership, but putting it into action and really making a difference.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part, seeing them, be change makers in the community.
So primarily this is for college students. Your institute is for college students. But you have different age college students, don't you? I bet you have from 18 to whatever age.
Oh, sure. We have many students at many former military that come back and work with our institute. We have a strong partnership with our ROTC program. We have many students that career change and want to come back, and it's really empowering to hear their life stories and what they've learned about leadership, and also how we're changing what leadership is to them. In the past, leadership was a positional piece. Leadership was about credentials and moving up the chain. And we want to change that mindset to say leadership is an everyday action. Everyone can lead within their own network, and it's really empowering for our students.
I have heard it said that leadership sometimes emphasizes titles and not testimony, or labels and not legacy, which kind of points to the importance of character. Could you speak to that?
Sure, and I think especially after COVID, there's been such a transition to empowering our students, not only our students, but our staff, our faculty, and our community stakeholders to think about what strengths and values they hold. Before you can lead others, you have to have a clear understanding of what your strengths and talents are. And I think the study of great character, great leadership, and great understanding of how every person can lead is really the foundation of what we try to do.
Yeah. In leadership, is it better to be admired or feared?
What a great movie quote. I believe the idea of that fear-based leadership has become antiquated, especially what you're seeing in the workplace now with the Great Resignation. Great employees are leaving if they don't feel valued and significant and feel appreciated by their leaders. So I think the idea of leadership right now is not only to be admired for someone who is empowering, a trustworthy leader, but someone who also lifts up those around them. And I think that's where we're seeing some of the greatest leaders shine during this time of, in many ways, turmoil in our economy, change in the business world. And I think that's where some great leaders can really thrive, because they're lifting others up as they're leading and empowering the team around them.
I've often thought that the 1980s, I don't know why the 1980s, maybe I'm wildly wrong, had a whole lot of leader gurus back then who talked more about servant leadership instead of power leadership.
Sure.
When do you think, or perhaps there's some names that come to your mind of great leaders?
Well, the big foundational type of curriculum we use are the Covey 7 Habits, and that's when the era when the Dr. Covey's work came out, and has been transformational for me Been working with everything from Olympic athletes and pro athletes around the 7 habits. We now have a partnership with Franklin Covey for our students, and really bringing those habits into this new era of social media and instant change and AI and all those different things. And I think that's one of the powers that has added the gravitas to our Leadership Institute by tying the work that we're doing to a global name. And those Covey principles have, lasted all these years and have been universal in so many different ways. And it's really helped our students to create a foundation around, okay, this is how I'm being proactive. Yeah. This is how I'm sharpening the saw, especially after COVID. So many of our students need to have that focus on taking care of yourself and really build up your heart, mind, body, and soul. And so our students, we always tell them you can't pour from an empty cup, and making sure you're taking care of yourself. So in a previous conversations, we talked about Drucker and some of those other principles, and that was a really transformational age for leadership that decade. And it's so powerful that those same principles are informing how we lead today.
Yeah. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Somebody needs to write a book, 7 Habits of Hardly Effective People, And what are the things to avoid?
I love it. Do this, don't do that.
Yeah, that's right. Just quickly, give some advice to those who are watching. What do you think are the most important principles of leadership?
Wow, I love that question. I think it really comes down to 3 things. Celebrate. 3 C's. Yeah. Celebrate what you're doing. Celebrate the impact that you're having. So often we're focusing on the challenges, our to-do list, okay? Second thing is collaboration. Can't do this alone. Leadership is a people business, okay? And having the opportunity to really bring out the best in each other. And that term, iron sharpens iron, okay? And then that competency, really coming down to put the work in so you have that skill set. And the combination of those 3 are so paramount. The celebrate, the collaboration, and having that competency can really take your leadership to that next level.
Yeah, I love those words. Thank you for sharing that. Collaboration, I often think of, we have 3 children. I did not co-labor with my wife in the birth of those 3 kids. She felt the pain, she gets the glory, not me. Anyhow, thank you so much, Matthew, for the time that you spent with us today, for your insights on leadership and your work at the University of North Florida in the Taylor Leadership Institute. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this segment. Go out, live well, share well, and be well. Thank you much.